All right, everybody, get ready, because today we're diving headfirst into some seriously fascinating stuff, like stuff that might have you rethinking everything you thought you knew.
Yeah, we're about to unearth some hidden gems in the Book of Moses, and not the one you'd find in your average hotel room Bible.
Exactly. We're talking Joseph Smith translation, the JST,
Right, the JST.
and specifically how it flips the script on the Book of
A
Moses.
lot of people think it's just like Genesis 2.0, but it goes way deeper.
Well, it's way more than just some synonyms swapped in.
The JST Book of Moses takes those classic Genesis stories and just explodes them wide open. Details and insights most folks have never even heard.
So you might be thinking, hold on, why haven't I heard this before? And that's what makes this deep dive so wild. We're talking potential paradigm shifts in how we see early biblical history.
We're talking lost stories, teachings that got left on the cutting room floor, and whole new angles on folks like Adam and Eve.
It's like someone handed us the director's cut of a movie we thought we had memorized, and bam, deleted scenes everywhere.
Think of it this way. The JST Book of Moses doesn't just tell the story, it goes behind the scenes, gives you the making of, way richer understanding of how God interacted with us from the get-go.
And throughout this deep dive, that's what we're going to explore, how the JST Book of Moses makes us rethink God's relationship with humanity.
Unpacking those little differences, those extra lines that add layers of meaning, make us see the old stories in a new light.
All right, let's jump right into the good stuff. What's something that really surprised you when you first cracked open the JST Book of Moses? What made you go, whoa, hold up?
The thing that really got me was how much more there is to Adam and Eve's story. We're not just talking Garden of Eden and the apple incident.
Right, not just about that one bite.
The JST paints this way more detailed picture of their lives after they left the garden. We get to see their relationship with God, how they understood his plan.
And that's where some really cool stuff starts happening. For example, in Moses chapter 4, we find Adam making sacrifices way before the law of Moses even shows up.
Yeah, you won't find that in your standard Bible. Raises some big questions.
And get this, an angel comes to Adam and straight up says, these sacrifices, they're pointing to Christ's sacrifice down the road.
Whoa, hold on a minute. Atonement right from the beginning, that's huge.
Right. Makes you think, did Adam and Eve have a way deeper understanding of God's plan than we usually give them credit for?
It really makes you challenge the usual story.
Okay, get ready for this. This detail about Adam and Eve blew my mind. It changes how we see them, don't you think?
It really does. And this whole deeper spiritual knowledge thing, it's not just with Adam and Eve. The JST Book of Moses keeps coming back to how dangerous secret combinations can be. We see it pop up as early as the Cain and Abel story, even.
Secret combinations. Okay, now we're talking. Sounds kind of ominous, right? Like, what's the deal with these ancient secrets?
Think of it like insider trading, but on an epic spiritual level. Hidden knowledge, secret oaths, people using that stuff to grab power. It gets dark fast, and it's this recurring theme in the JST Book of Moses, like that struggle between good and evil in ancient history.
And talk about getting dark, there's Lamech in Moses chapter 5. Now, he was a descendant of Cain, known for, well, not being the nicest guy, but the JST, it adds a whole new layer, right? Like, there's more to the story, something he was hiding that took him down.
The JST tells us that Lamech told his wives a secret, but they turned on him, revealed it, and boom, he's out.
Cast out.
Makes you think of some kind of ancient mob boss, right?
You've got murder, oaths, hidden knowledge.
What's the line between a secret and forbidden knowledge, and what happens when you cross it?
It's wild how these little details can completely change how we see a story. Speaking of wild, we gotta talk about Enoch. Moses chapter 7, folks. This ain't just taking a walk with God. We're talking a whole city goes to heaven.
And the details are incredible. Moses chapter 7 describes how Enoch builds this city so righteous, God's like, that's it, I'm calling it Zion, and I'm taking it straight up, protected from all the bad stuff going down on earth.
Makes you think, what would it have been like to live in a place so good God himself wanted to airlift it out of there?
And what really struck me is how God reacts. The text says he wept when he saw how wicked everything else had become.
Wait, God wept. Okay, that's not something you hear every day. Especially with, the whole world basically getting flipped on its head. Adds a whole other dimension, don't you think?
Definitely. You don't often think about God being sad, do you? It just makes you realize how invested he is in his creation. He's not some distant being up there. He's right here with us, heart and soul.
Totally. But the story's not over yet. Buckle up, because we're going from this tender moment straight into the flood. And, well, the JST has a very interesting take on that whole thing.
Yeah, we all know the flood, right? God
Mhm.
kind of regrets making humans, wipes the slate clean.
Yeah.
But the JST, Moses chapter 8, puts the focus on Noah's grief over what's happening. He's the one who's heartbroken over how bad things have gotten.
So it's not just God who's sad. Noah feels it too. It's like they're both heartbroken over what humanity's become. That's kind of heavy.
Yeah, it is. It's like, it's not just God's sorrow, it's this shared experience.
Right.
Like both of them are carrying the weight of what's going on. Makes it way more relatable, don't you think?
Absolutely. Reminds us that we're not that different from Noah, deal with the same kind of stuff, make the same mistakes. But like we said, that's not where the story ends. We've got covenants, curses, things will echo throughout history. So we've had this huge flood, wipe the slate clean, right? New start. But the JST throws in this curveball that makes you go, wait, really? It's like God makes a covenant not just with people, with everything, every living thing.
Oh, I'm not giving up on creation, guys. Not just humans, the whole shebang. Pretty amazing when you think about it.
No, seriously. Makes you think about, like, our place in all this. We're not just supposed to be caretakers of each other, but of the planet, the animals, everything. Big responsibility.
It's huge. And then, just when you're getting used to that idea, bam, we go from this beautiful promise to Noah getting drunk and that whole curse on Canaan thing. You're like, didn't we just hit the reset button? What's with the curses again?
It's like whiplash. 1 minute, it's all hope and rainbows. The next, we're back to the heavy stuff.
And the thing about that curse on Canaan, it doesn't just disappear. That story echoes all through the Bible.
Oh, totally. You see it pop up with the Israelites, the Canaanites. It's like this ancient story casting a shadow over everything that comes after. Makes you think, how can those two things coexist? God's love, but then these harsh judgments.
Right. It's a question people have wrestled with forever.
Yeah.
And I think the JST, with all these extra details, it just makes us look for answers in a different way. Makes you okay with not always having a simple answer.
It's like accepting the mystery, right? There's some things we're not going to fully understand, at least not in this life.
Exactly. But, one of the things that really gets me about the JST book of Moses is how much God talks to people. Directly.
Right. Throughout all these stories with Adam and Eve, Enoch, Noah, it's constant. He's not off somewhere distant. He's involved. He's revealing himself, dieting, even showing his emotions.
I got to be honest, when I first read that part about God weeping, had to put the book down for a minute, it changes everything.
Makes you wonder, how does that change how we see Revelation, how we read Scripture even?
Right. The JST book of Moses, it opens up all these possibilities, makes you question everything you thought you knew.
It's like we got a peek behind the curtain and now we can't unsee it.
The book of Moses, it's not just some old stories. It's like this living conversation. Still challenging us, still teaching us, sometimes even surprising us.
And on that note, we've reached the end of our deep dive. Hope you've enjoyed the journey as much as we have. Keep searching, keep those questions coming, and remember, there's always something new to discover when you dive a little deeper. Until next time.